Hello and welcome to Synchronicity Talk Radio for your mind, body, and soul. I'm your host, Marie Bernard, and we're broadcasting live from Google Hangouts on air on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Marie Bernard. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do subscribe. Hit the subscribe button right now. If you're listening on the radio, then you might be listening from the University of British Columbia campus, broadcasting from unceded Musqueam territory on CITR 101.9 FM in Vancouver, or online at CITR.ca, CosmicDimensions.com, EmpowerRadio.com, or on the Co-Creator Network. Thank you for joining us wherever you're from. Today we're speaking with Michael Tamez, and he is the author of Transformative Nutrition, the ultimate guide to healthy and balanced living. And Michael Tamez is a holistic health coach certified by the world-renowned Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And he's also listed on the national board for the American Association of Drugless Practitioners. And Michael's passion is to educate and inspire people for their personal growth in every area of their lives. And he loves encouraging and supporting people who are struggling to reach their health and wellness goals. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's great to be on the show.
Thank you for being with us. So I see on the back of your book, there's actually a picture of you before and after. So you've obviously gone through your own health journey. So can you tell us a little bit about how you got to where you are now?
Yeah, it's actually been quite the interesting past 13 years. It started back in 2001, where I made a resolution to kind of change my lifestyle. I mean, I knew I had some issues. You know, I was very much overweight. I wasn't always that way. Over the course of about 2 years, back in 1997-ish, I was in high school, and long story short, I met a girl, fell in love, and she had a child. I thought it was mine, and I raised it for a while, and I found out it wasn't mine, and it was devastating to me. And I started treating my body. I started just eating, and I didn't really care about what I was doing. And I started gaining weight, and the weight kept adding on and adding on and adding on. And then I started falling asleep at work, and then I started falling asleep driving even. I was in an accident, and I didn't know what was going on. So I went to the doctor, and they diagnosed me with severe sleep apnea and high blood pressure. So it was very frightening to me, and I was scared for my life, because they said, you know, you have to do something about this, because you could have a lot of other serious health complications if you don't. So I decided they prescribed a sleep apnea, for sleep apnea, the CPAP machine, which is a mask you sleep on your face, and it forces air into your mouth, so that way you don't fall asleep during the day. And it worked, but I continued my sedentary lifestyle, and I was still eating junk food, and I really didn't care about anything, and I was just stuffing my face, and actually didn't realize that I was stuffing my emotions from the bad relationship that I had. And it got to the point where I was almost 250 pounds, and I couldn't take it anymore, because I was getting tired, I was getting winded walking upstairs, even tying my shoes, and it got to the point where I said, okay, I have to do something now, otherwise I'm going to have a lot more serious health problems, or even, you know, end up getting some kind of disease or something. And so I made a resolution, and I stuck with it. And it took a while, but with some encouragement from my dad, and just keeping at it and learning about nutrition and everything, I just kept with it, and the weight started coming off, and I just kept on going and going. And, you know, fast forward 13 years later, here I am, and I just want to help as many people as I can, because I know what it takes to get to where I'm at now, and the struggles that, you know, come up and what you deal with.
So Michael, I'm curious, now that you are healthier and have lost a bunch of weight, do you still have sleep apnea? Do you still need the CPAP machine?
No, actually, excuse me. During the first year that I actually lost 70 pounds in that first year that I actually made the resolution, and I stuck with it. So by about, I would say August, September, I was down 70 pounds from the 250. And I was going for checkups every couple months. And by the time I was down 70 pounds, the doctor said, The doctor had me go for a sleep study, and my sleep apnea was gone. I mean, the sleep study, they put these things on you, and they put probes on you and measure the amount of times you stop breathing when you're sleeping, which is what sleep apnea is. You stop breathing. And he said that it was completely gone. And then he measured my blood pressure, and it was normal too. So, it was very encouraging to know that just with some lifestyle modifications and some, just the desire to reach these goals, I was able to reverse sleep apnea naturally, without drugs, without surgery, because they gave me the option to have surgery, and it's a reconstructive surgery that they do on your throat. And they basically, it allows air to naturally to enter your esophagus without restriction, so that way you don't fall asleep and you get sound sleep during the night. But I didn't want surgery, so I went the all natural way. So after about 11 months or so, it was completely gone, the sleep apnea.
Yay! I'm experimenting with the sounds on the Google Hangouts on air. Were you able to hear the clapping?
I appreciate the standing ovation. That was great.
Awesome, good. Well, that's the thing. There's so many challenges that we face with Western medicine. I've been looking at, I've been hearing about this candida problem, this epidemic that people have a problem with candida, and I know I have had a lot of inflammation. When I eat more low carb, it's not as bad, but there have been times when I've asked my doctor to test me for arthritis, which apparently I don't have, but I literally could not get up and down without having to like pull myself up because my joints were so sore and stiff. And yet my doctor said that science-based doctors don't believe in candida, like systemic candida infections. And then that was the end of the conversation.
Yeah, it's frustrating being in the holistic health field and hearing something like that, and I totally understand and I get it. What the problem is that doctors don't have nutritional training. They have very minimal, if any at all, and they don't understand the influence that food has on our body. Every system in our body, every cell in our body is energized, is either energized or de-energized. It's either fed, it's either medicinal or it's damaging to our body, and they don't understand this. And medicine, medications and certain drugs and surgery, they have their place. But when it comes to preventative medicine, doctors really have no clue. And the problem with that, the reason is because they're not getting to know their patients and understanding what is causing the chronic inflammation, or the candida, or the fibromyalgia, or any itis. Anything that ends in itis is inflammation, and it's basically excessive heat in the body. And that could mean physical heat, it can mean energetic heat, it could mean mental heat. Like if you have anger and rage, that can cause inflammation as well. And these are things that doctors have no concept of. They just think, oh, I see a person as a physical being, and they treat that person as a physical being, but they're neglecting the spiritual, the mental, emotional, all these other areas that make us whole and one and complete.
Thank you, Michael. Well, we're talking with Michael Tamez. He is the author of Transformative Nutrition, and he is a holistic health coach. And one of the things, I've actually gotten away from the homeopathy and the more spiritual side of things on my show, because a lot of these modalities don't have research to back them up. And the frustration is that the research-based medicine in Western medicine, a lot of the research is not real. It's because of funding. It's biased by whoever's giving them the money. And yet these holistic modalities don't get the research that they need to be taken more seriously. So as a holistic health coach, how do you help people navigate the right paths to take?
I completely understand what you're saying, and I totally agree. And there's no funds available for that kind of approach because it makes them no money. If they use herbs and if they use herbs and like other modalities such as Reiki or energy healing or anything like that, there's no profit for them. So that's not feasible. That's not in their best interest. What I tell people and what my approach is as a holistic health coach, I don't, my advice doesn't substitute the advice of their doctor or their physician or anything like that, or their dietitian or their nutritionist or chiropractor. It's to supplement what they're saying to them and implementing a plan for them to reach their goals. And the biggest thing with my health coaching is the non-physical aspect of nutrition. So you have your physical nutrition, and that's obvious to people. It's food you eat. It's the nourishment that you need to survive. It's the food that gives you the fuel to live your day and give you the energy to get up and go and move. That's the physical nutrition. The non-physical nutrition is one of the things that I specialize in, and that's everything that is not food that nourishes our body, mind, and soul. So that's just thinking about the thoughts that you're having, the emotions you're feeling, that kind of thing, and seeing how it's affecting things. For example, a lot of the times what I've uncovered and discovered with some of my clients and with myself too, with my 13-year personal experience, is that a lot of the physical things that we deal with, such as in my case being 100 pounds overweight, is the mental attachments to the past. So basically living your now as if it were 10 years ago. So in my case, I was holding on to anger, resentment, and guilt and fear and all that from a failed relationship, and I held on to it for many years. And I didn't realize, even after I lost 70 pounds, I didn't realize that it was still causing me to have these negative conversations replaying in my head over and over again. And unless you get to the root of that, then, you know, the weight can come back. Like, for example, anybody can go on a fad diet and lose weight, and then they get very frustrated that they gain that weight back and then some sometimes. And that's because these diets a lot of the times don't address those conversations that keep replaying over again. Unless the cycle is broken and you start a new cycle, it's just going to keep replaying and it's not going to get resolved. It's kind of like you look at a garden, it's overtaken with weeds, and you just cut the weeds at the top and think, oh, it looks great. It appears as the weeds are gone, but then they come back and multiply just, twice as much. And until you actually dig in the ground and take the whole root out, the problem is just going to keep coming back until you address it. And that's the concept of my health coaching, is getting to the underlying reason for the physical issues. And more than 90% of the time, if not even 95% of the time, it's something that's related to an energetic or a spiritual or a mental or emotional imbalance.
Awesome. Can you give us some examples about what that might look like? Because I find that I've struggled with my weight as well, and it kind of fluctuates. And I noticed that whatever the external problem is, whether it's problems with your love life, problems with your weight, your health, money issues, you can deal with that issue on the surface and solve it temporarily, but that's never what it's really about. Because then you could have $1 million in your bank account, but if you have these underlying problems, in a couple of years you're going to be broke again. The same with, you can lose 100 pounds and in a few years you'll be fat again.
Absolutely. I have from the health coach school that I graduated from, we have this exercise. It's called the circle of life. And in that circle, it's basically like a wheel, and there's 12 equal slices in that wheel. It's like a pie or a puzzle, and each slice is equally important as the other. So if one slice is missing, or if one spoke of the wheel is loose, the whole wheel is going to start wobbling, or the whole pie is going to be incomplete. And unless you address that one piece, then all the other pieces are going to start becoming loose, or they're going to be missing. And those pieces of the pie are all these areas that make us whole, such as our spirituality, our joy, our happiness, our career, our education, our home environment, our friends, social life, all those things tie into this circle of life. And having a balance is when all those areas are equal and make that wheel complete. And at any time one is imbalanced, all the others are affected. So just working on one area, such as weight loss or a physical issue, you're not balancing all those other areas out. So you're not really getting to the bottom of it, which isn't gonna, in the long run, isn't going to give you that, have you reached the goal that you really want to reach unless you get to the root.
Well, we are speaking right now with Michael Tamez. He is the author of Transformative Nutrition, the ultimate guide to healthy and balanced living. And you also have, what is your website?
It is transformative-nutrition.com.
Perfect. Yeah, I don't see it on the back of the cover of the book. Transformative-nutrition.com, and the name of the book is Transformative Nutrition. So how long, you started this journey? It's been a 13-year journey for yourself. How long have you been coaching other people?
I've been doing health coaching for about 3 years now, give or take a couple months, and and I find it very rewarding because I'm able to contribute to a healthcare system that is in complete disarray. It's broken right now, and not only in America, just all over the place, especially in America, though, because we're kind of suppressed as far as natural remedies go, but a lot of new breakthroughs have come through, and a lot of new advancements have been made, and we're leaning more towards a holistic approach. So I'm very happy and I'm very optimistic that health coaching is actually going to be embraced more as we move toward a solution to this broken healthcare system.
So I get the sense that it's almost like having a personal trainer, but you don't just focus on do these exercises, you focus more on the whole person and working with them.
That's exactly, you are very, very correct. It is kind of like a personal trainer, except that a health coach is trained to go much deeper into the things that people deal with on a day-to-day basis. So when you work with a personal trainer, you have goals that you want to achieve as far as your health, your physical health goals. So you want to lose weight, or you want to gain muscle, or you have a specific goal in mind. And some personal trainers do work with some nutritional advice and stuff, but for the most part, it's more of what can we do to get you to where you want to be with your physical body. And where health coaches come in, and this isn't like a comparison or saying one is better than the other. They complement each other very well, and we need both of them to transform the medical system. The difference between a health coach and a personal trainer is that a health coach will have a conversation with the client and get to know their complete health history, get to know where they were, where they want to be, and what their blockages are. And having a conversation about what those blockages are and how we can actually get through them. Because when a coach takes on a client, when I have a client, that client is not just someone that's paying me to have a conversation about health. I'm actually on their team, so it's more like teamwork. So we're working together to reach the person's goals, and it's a very powerful approach, because the client knows that they have this compassionate support that they need. Because a lot of people don't have the accountability in between sessions when they're when they're doing personal training. It's like, okay, I have a week in between. If I don't have contact with my coach or my trainer, then I'm just gonna I'm gonna go right back to my old ways, and then you're struggling. So what I do with my health coaching is I give my clients unlimited text and email support between sessions, so that way if anything ever comes up in between the session, that they can just shoot me a text or send me an email, say, hey, look, I'm struggling right now with this, can you talk me through this so I can, I can make a better choice because I'm about to make a bad choice right now. And a lot of the time, the client finds that it's very, very helpful to them to have that support, because it keeps the energy and the mode of accountability going, even when they're not having the session. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it almost sounds like an AA sponsor or something.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. I mean, it gives them the motivation that they need when they're not, working with me. It keeps them in the game. You know what I mean?
So then, do you get text messages at 2 o'clock in the morning that you have to respond to, or how do you deal with that?
Well, I set boundaries, of course, and I say, I'm human and I have a life, so I typically, get back to them as soon as possible, and it's usually within, reasonable time. But, it really does help, though. I mean, because a lot of programs that I've even come across or researched or heard about, the coaches don't offer that kind of support, and to me, it just makes sense, because I know, like I said, I know the struggles, and if you're not being held accountable, all the time at all times, or you're not able to hold yourself accountable, then there has to be somebody there to do that. And the whole goal with my coaching is to empower people so that they can be their own health coach. They can be their own health hero, and they can hold themselves accountable and mentor themselves and educate themselves, because that is what I want to do. I want to bring people to a place where they have this innate ability, because we're born with this ability to heal ourselves. And I'm just a messenger. I'm just a healing facilitator, reminding people of this ability. And that's my goal with the coaching I do.
Awesome. Again, we're speaking with Michael Tamez. He's the author of Transformative Nutrition, and he is a holistic health coach. You can find him at transformative-nutrition.com. This is what the book looks like. And I should have, I just thought of this now because we're coming up on holidays right now, and I know I'm already off the low carb wagon, and I'm really trying to balance and eat what I would normally eat and then have some treats. But I noticed that it starts to shift to more and more garbage as it gets closer to Christmas. So I try to reel myself in. But towards the end of the interview, maybe just so you have a moment to think about it, maybe you could offer us some tips on how to get through the holiday indulgences with a little bit of balance and not be all or nothing. Because I think that's what happens is people are like, oh, I've been really good all year, and now I'm going to gain 20 pounds. I've done this. I gained a couple years ago 20 pounds between Thanksgiving and Christmas. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's pretty common. I mean, it's holidays, everybody's indulging and eating and drinking, and it tends to happen. I mean, but it doesn't always have to be that way. And the thing I tell people with that is, you can't. I'm not for extremes. Like I kind of have like an 80-20 approach. I know there's a diet called 80-20, but I'm not talking about the diet. I'm talking about just eating good, wholesome, organic, as possible, clean foods most of the time. And then every once in a while, throw some junk in there, because you can't be 100% good. You can't be 100% bad. I mean, you can, but either extreme is going to be imbalanced. And we live in a society, because if you were to be 100% organic, raw, or whatever, that looks like, it looks different for everyone. So if you were to be that way 100% of the time, the environment we live in with the pollutants and the toxins and everything that we have, if you happen to go out and just have a meal somewhere, your body might freak out, because it's not used to whatever's in the food that, it might be in it, such as, if it's made with chemical ingredients or processed sugars or something like that, So I like to tell people, throw some junk in there once in a while, because, you earned it. It kind of takes away the guilt and the shame from doing it. And, it makes it easier to have that choice. You know what I mean?
Once in a while, a little bit of balance. Because if you go too strict, then what happens is you get into the all or nothing thinking, which is a struggle for a lot of people, myself included, where, like I said, you've been super, super good, too good, and then you feel constantly deprived. And then as soon as you let yourself have one cookie, you end up eating the whole bag because you're depriving yourself.
Exactly. And then you make yourself, and then people make themselves wrong and beat themselves up over it, when if you just had the cookie and said, okay, I'm making a choice to have this cookie, and I'm making a choice to have this cookie, and that's the period, end of story. There's nothing, you know, I feel bad, I feel this, I feel that. No, you just had the cookie, and now you're going to eat better tomorrow. I mean, that's, you know, that's what a lot of the health coaching I do revolves around, is empowering people so they get that concept.
Cool. And how long is a coaching relationship usually?
It all depends on the person I'm working with, what their needs are, what their goals are, you know, what they want to achieve, their health history. It all depends. I mean, sometimes I work with clients 3-4 sessions, sometimes a dozen sessions. I mean, it really all depends on where they're at, how committed they are, what they know already about nutrition and health. Because honestly, the last client I worked with, we had 5 sessions, and she was great after that. I mean, she had started sessions with me already knowing what she needed to work on, and she had a very strong concept of how her thoughts and feelings tied into how she was eating. One of the greatest examples that I like to give people is, well, it comes from my experience, and I stuffed my face because I was sad and angry, not because I was hungry. And that's one very, very powerful concept that if you can understand, then it'll make it a lot easier to get to where you want to be with your health goals. So, like, you know, a lot of people may be miserable at their job or in a bad relationship, and, you know, they come home from work and start eating junk food when, you know, they're really not hungry, or they're eating at midnight when they're really not hungry, because they don't realize that they're in, you know, they hate their job, or they don't want to be in this relationship anymore, or whatever it may be. And that's a very powerful concept.
Thank you. Again, we're talking with Michael Tamez. He is the author of Transformative Nutrition. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, click the subscribe button. And if you're listening on the radio, go to my website, happyshow.ca, or YouTube, youtube.com/spiritual show, or you can visit Michael's website, which is transformative-nutrition.com. And yeah, so I guess this is the perfect time to be talking to you, because people are gearing up for New Year's resolutions for 2016. What's your take on, you mentioned your own resolution, so what's your take on New Year's resolutions?
I think they're great. I mean, like I said, that's what started my my health journey, with a resolution. And a lot of people don't really subscribe to the New Year's resolution concept, but it's really all what you make of it. It's all about intention. So if you intend for something and you want it bad enough, all it takes is a little effort, and you can manifest it. And that's what a lot of people are getting at these days, is the power, you know, the power of the law of attraction and that concept. And it's very powerful. And I used that back 13 years ago, and I didn't even realize I was raised as a spiritual but not religious, and I had that concept and I understood it, but I was committed to losing weight and eating, you know, having a healthier lifestyle, and there was nothing that anyone was going to do to stop me from achieving that. And if people can have that similar mindset, they'll achieve whatever resolution they want, whether it's weight loss, whether it's manifesting a new job, whether it's manifesting an amazing relationship, getting a promotion at work. You fill in the blank, and, you know, you can make it happen with this powerful concept. And yeah, so I mean, resolutions are great, I think. And, you know, as long as you believe in yourself, because, you know, we create our reality with our choices, actions, and intent. So I mean, that's what I think about the resolution concept.
Cool. Well, what do you say to those people that every year they start out with a resolution and they're like, okay, I'm going to quit smoking, but I'm not going to do it till January 1st. So I'm going to smoke it up until then. And then 2 weeks into January, they're back in their old habits again. How do you help people like that?
Well, what I usually do is, just like I was saying a little while ago, is not having that, the whole depriving concept. And if the person, you know, if it's quitting smoking, for example, if the person, you know, needs to have, you know, a smoke every now and then to ease off, you know, ease off of smoking, then it's fine to, you know, have that choice there. But completely, you know, completely denying that can cause our ego. I mean, our ego is very sensitive and it gets very angry very quickly. So it can become defiant. So it can say, okay, you're going to deprive me from this. Well, guess what?
Michael, I think I just lost you.
Hello?
Oh, yeah, you said you're going to deprive me of this, I guess, and then I lost you.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, you're going to deprive me of this. So, okay, well, I'm going to be defiant now, and we're going to do it anyway. And we're going to try to hide it and not tell the coach or, you know, tell the trainer or whatever. And, you know, when you do something like that, you're really only hiding it and hiding it from and hurting yourself. So when you actually allow yourself to be human and, you know, have days where you might have not done such a great job with your goals, that's fine. We're all human. You're not making yourself wrong. It's just having smaller goals that you need to take, like kind of like baby steps to get to that, you know, that big goal, that giant grand goal. And that's one of the things that I work with people with that kind of thing a lot, because I didn't lose 100 pounds, reverse sleep apnea, and reverse my gum disease overnight. And what I try to have people understand is that they also did not become overweight or, you know, got to a point where they're smoking a pack of cigarettes every day overnight either. It's a gradual process, and weaning ourselves off of these bad habits is also a gradual process. So it's just basically having compassion for yourself. And, you know, it's very powerful to have that, because it allows you the space to be human in error. But also at the same time, you're not accepting anything less than you are capable of. You know what I mean? Acknowledging your progress, but knowing that there's a goal in mind, and, you know, you're going to keep on even if you mess up one day, and you're just going to get back up, dust yourself off, and keep on going and keep on walking to your goal. Even if 3 days from that point you fall again and eat junk food or have a cigarette or whatever, same thing. Okay, I had a cigarette, I ate McDonald's, I'm going to get back up and I'm going to be fine tomorrow, and I'm not going to make myself wrong. I'm not going to feel guilty. I'm not going to think I'm stupid, fat, ugly, or whatever. I'm just going to keep on going towards my goal, because I have compassion for myself, and that's what's really going to win over the fear.
So it sounds like one of the biggest roadblocks or causes of completely falling off the wagon is a lack of self-compassion.
Yeah, I think so, because a lot of the times when that happens, like I said, people deprive themselves from something that they're used to or that they are comfortable with. Because when you're uncomfortable, when you step outside of your comfort zone, such as when you start a new diet or you start a smoking cessation program, it's uncomfortable, and it's very uncomfortable, and it doesn't feel good at first, but that's where the transformational growth occurs, is in that discomfort. Because we can stay in our comfort zones our whole life, but, you know, and that's fine. You know, and some people choose to do that, and I'm fine with that's your choice. But I don't feel that, you know, people that are aware, you know, that they're okay with that. So once they step outside in that discomfort, then, you know, they can experience that growth. or actually at least the start of the growth.
So it sounds like a willingness to be uncomfortable, to step outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the basis of it. When you have that willingness and openness, open-mindedness, open-heartedness, everything that comes with starting something new, because it's not easy. You know, our ego resists it, and it's going to do everything it can to stay in that old pattern of living because it's comfortable there, and it doesn't want you to go further, because then it knows, our ego knows, that it's going to have to behave in that new state of being, in that new body, or that new mind, or that, you know, smoke-free, you know, person. They're going to have to, you know, it's going to have to be that way, and it resists change.
Right. Well, I'm curious, you mentioned in the book, Transformative Nutrition. We're speaking with Michael Tamez right now, by the way. Can't speak. Transformative Nutrition. I was reading it on the screen backwards. That's why I got all messed up. And you can find Michael at transformative-nutrition.com. And what's the problem with coffee? I like coffee. I drink it all the time. I would be very uncomfortable giving it up. So what's the problem?
Oh, I don't have a problem with it. I have a story in my book. It was a story. I was in QS one time, and I had 3 cups of coffee. I love the taste of coffee, by the way. I really do. I just can't drink it. I have a very sensitive nervous system, to say the least. So I had this coffee in QS, and it was amazing. I had 1 cup, and then I had another, and then another, and I just couldn't stop drinking it because it tasted so good. And by the time I was halfway done with the 3rd cup, I seriously felt like I was gonna have like a massive panic attack or something. I was like, I could not believe how, because I don't drink coffee that often. If not, I rarely drink coffee. I drink green tea, which has a lower amount of caffeine. I had to walk around the island and jump in the Gulf of Mexico in order for me to finally calm down, because I was like completely crazy. But no, I don't have any issues with people drinking coffee at all. I think in moderation it can be medicinal, actually. And the thing is, coffee and caffeine affect people differently. Like for me, with a sensitive immune system, I really can't drink coffee. But for someone that may be more naturally lethargic, it might be the greatest thing ever for them. So it all depends, you know, on just like any other food, you know, like for example, when you look at something like green leafy veggies, kale, for example, I had many years of issues with my digestive system and didn't realize that kale was the reason for it. And, you know, with all the stuff you hear these days about greens being amazing for you, and they're alkaline, they're detoxifying, that's great if they work for your body, but we're 7 billion plus on the planet, and there's 7 billion different diets on the planet. So someone saying that you should be a raw vegan, that's not going to work for everyone, because we're all individual and we're all unique. We all have unique digestive systems. We all have unique, nervous systems, unique lymphatic systems. Every system, every cell in our bodies is all unique and specific to us, to one being. And what may be medicine for your mother or father may be poison to you or your sister. And that's the beautiful concept of that's a beautiful thing about being human, is that we're all different but similar at the same time. And coffee is great for somebody and it might not be good for someone else. So I really don't have anything against coffee. So just so you know.
And maybe I misunderstood when I was reading the book, but I did notice how you make it really clear that there's no one diet that's going to work for every person.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's I actually start after my introduction in the book. I go into why diets don't work and what does. And the reason that I explain why diets don't work is simply because of what I just said. There being 7+ billion people, and you know, everyone is unique. So you know, you have all these. I mean, there's diet books coming out left and right. I mean, you look at the alphabet A to Z, and there's a diet for every letter of the alphabet. And each diet, each person, each expert or doctor or, you know, nutritionist says, my diet's the greatest thing ever and it'll work for everyone. I think that is a very bold and incorrect statement because of the fact that we're all individual and our bodies are different. So saying that one thing works for everyone is really not valid when you think about it, because of all the different racial backgrounds and the different, the different genetics that we have, and the different ways of eating and different ways of living. Even our spiritual, our spirituality is different. The way we digest and assimilate foods, the thoughts and emotions we have, our upbringing, all that stuff is going to affect everything, and that's why one diet in particular won't work for the whole planet.
Okay, well, what about our addiction to sweeteners? Do you have anything to say about that?
Yes. I firmly believe that we have a sugar addiction going on right now. It's pretty evident to me. I mean, they put sugar, if you look at the nutritional facts and the ingredients, on pretty much anything processed, packaged, you see sugar in it. And we've gotten to the point now where, I mean, it's in everything, and it's eaten, and it's put in drinks and coffee and stuff. And we know now that it's not good for our bodies, and it actually feeds cancer cells and causes them to metastasize faster. And there's actual scientific evidence that you can research on your own to see this happening. I mean, they show cells when you feed a cancer, and they just become very active. And to compensate for this, the government and a lot of the big food corporations, global food corporations, have now manufactured these artificial sweeteners that are even worse than the sugar itself, because our bodies know that they're not real, and our bodies freak out. So what these artificial sweeteners actually cause is more problems in the sugar itself, because they actually shut down some of the functions in our body that tell us we're full or tell us that we're hungry, which is why fast food is so addictive in general. For example, like McDonald's and Burger King and all those fast food joints, they put this high fructose corn syrup and diet soda, has this aspartame in it, which causes, these crazy problems in our body, and our body freaks out and doesn't understand what's going on. So we never know if we're hungry or we're full or what is going on. And if you look at the obesity rates since the artificial sweeteners became widely consumed, which were in the early 90s, the obesity rates have skyrocketed, and they haven't looked back since. And we're at a point now where we have the highest rate of obesity ever, the highest rate of diabetes ever, and the two are very, very closely connected. And although artificial sweeteners may not have an effect on the blood sugar, so for like diabetics and everything, but they cause all kinds of other problems, and the problems are endless. I mean, if you do your own research, you can see this stuff, and it's getting to the point where we don't even taste our food, because we dump all this sugar or all this salt or all this other stuff on it, and we don't even remember what the actual food tastes like, because we're eating so much processed sugar-laden snacks and junk foods.
Mm. You mentioned something about us not knowing when we're hungry or full, and I know that I've read studies on the artificial sweeteners that actually, prevent the brain from knowing when it's full or not. So we end up eating more calories in the day because our bodies get confused by it. And then there's neurological problems that can happen because of artificial sweeteners. But something also that I'm noticing is that I think, and I'm sure you work a lot with your clients on this, is the lack of mindfulness. Like when I'm watching television, that's when I feel the biggest urge to eat.
Yeah. A lot of people just kind of numb out and zone out, and it's very common. And having mindfulness about it will really make a difference. And just having awareness around what you're eating and why you're eating. It's actually more powerful to look at the why instead of the what, because it's within the why that you understand the what. So for example, if you look at, okay, so why am I eating this sugary, this processed snack or cookie or whatever that's loaded with sugar and artificial fats or whatever? Why am I going on? What are my thoughts? What kind of data did I have? Am I in a happy relationship? Do I like my job? You know, do I like where I'm at right now in my life? Okay, maybe no, I don't. I really don't like my job. Okay, so well, maybe that's explaining why I want to eat right now and I'm not really hungry, or I don't have a sugar craving. And when, you know, you start digging even deeper into that and figuring, okay, so what do I need to do? Do I need to like revise my resume and look for a better job? Or do I need to have a conversation with my significant other and figure out what problems are causing me to overeat or, you know, stuff my face with junk food? Getting to the why will help you understand the what. And then once you understand the why and understand the what, then it's easier to eliminate that altogether. So there is no junk food. There is no, oh, I don't understand what, you know, why I'm eating this. Does that make sense?
Definitely, yes. There's actually a book, I'm going to link it to this YouTube video. I did an interview with a woman called Mary O'Malley, and she wrote a book called The Gift of Our Compulsions. And it's all about being present and not even necessarily disallowing a slip, but being mindful of why you're doing it and paying attention to the thoughts and emotions that come up while you are indulging in whatever your urge is.
It sounds very much aligned with what we're talking about.
Yeah, I'll link it to this and you can check it out. I can send it to you as well.
Awesome.
Okay, well, we have been speaking with Michael Tamez. I'm saying that right?
That's correct, yes.
Michael Tamez, and he is the author of Transformative Nutrition, and he is a holistic health coach certified by the world-renowned Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and you can find him at transformative-nutrition.com. He's got quite an extensive site, lots of articles and information there that I'm sure you can find lots of tips for New Year's resolutions or for getting healthier. And of course, if people want to work with you, they can find you at your website, transformative-nutrition.com. Before we wrap up, I'm wondering, what do you think the most important thing that you want listeners and viewers to take home today?
To listen to their body, because that is the most powerful thing that people can do to transform their health and their life. And it's basically like, if you look at it like your car and your warning light comes on your dashboard, so you know you have to take it to the mechanic, right? So those warning lights are symptoms if you look at it in our bodies. So our bodies have symptoms, and those symptoms are basically telling us that something is off and we need to address it. And it's powerful language that our body speaks to us in, and once we start listening to that, then we know what it'll take to get to where we want to be. That's the most powerful thing right there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today. And yeah, we were trying to get your webcam working, unfortunately. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can only see Michael's picture, but it's a lovely picture. I
don't know. There's technical difficulties, but I'm going to actually put a video of a TV interview that I had like a couple months ago up on my website. So when you go to my website, you'll be able to see it. I'll probably have it up there within a week or so. So you'll be able to see and actually get who I am, my essence, my being, if you will.
Awesome. So that's, again, transformative-nutrition.com. And I want to send lots and lots of love to you. Happy holidays. Thank you so much for being with us. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, please do subscribe. And Michael, do you have a YouTube channel?
I do. I don't remember. I apologize. I don't remember the name of it because I really don't put any upload anything on it. But you can find it on my G Plus if you go to my website and my social media stuff there. So
awesome. Okay. Well, lots of love to you. Remember to have compassion for yourself, whether you're listening to this over the holidays or in the new year. And be well. I love you so much. Namaste.
Peace, love, and light.